at this point.
Good evening, Joy News. My question to the minister is, I live in Eastern Region and I'm in a logistic firm who provides service for a fruit company. And I'm asking, how do I enter Greater Accra and come out of Greater Accra? Since I have my ID card that I work at the port, both Tema and KIA ports, how do I go out of Eastern Region to Accra, go and work and return in the evening? What would the security people demand for me to allow me to enter and come out of Greater Accra? Thank you.
But you, your construction workers now, young so, your favorite chief for Pacific Kumasi. Construction workers now, you also your career, you must have a bit behind the double track.
Hello, Mefa. Good evening, and thanks for the opportunity. This is Seth from Ablikuma. So I want to know from the Honorable Minister if we have some sort of a contact where we can have online consultation, so that common code is still there. We will have common code, right? So that they could ask me some questions. How do you feel? Do you feel this? Do you feel that? So that we all don't rush thinking we have the virus and then calling the 112 contacts for us to be taken care of or something. Is there some sort of online consultation? Like, is there a provision like that for us? Thank you very much.
Hello, Honorable Minister. We thank you for your continuous briefs and updates. This afternoon, earlier, you during your updates, I think the Chief of Immigration, if I am right, made mention that they are not going by the humanitarian approach. They are strictly going by the combat, and I think that's the way to go. Why? Because you see, when we leave things to chance, this is serious business. Remember, if somebody do not fall in line, it's better to whip their asses off than later for them to find ourselves for them to infect everybody, find ourselves in isolation, battling with our lungs and finding a way to save our own lives. If you got to beat our asses off, you got to do it. This is serious business. I am Dajuna Damiani from my secret places in Tamale. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. Joy News. Me pacho me din di alasa me kasa fir mali. Me question me woma information minister na say. Yesi Accra Kumasi Tema. Mo bia mpie bi o mo bia move nko bia bi o bia mpie nko dwuma bia nye bia. Ayapa na other regions na aka. Yam says transport Kumasi to Accra or Kumasi to Tamale or Hifa Sunyane or Bebia and wa as a Kamuma Kako. Now be a cause of more feel or baby or Ghana or Omujana Pupon Kurasi.
It's a lockdown here on the Joy News channel. Joy 99.7 FM, Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, and our affiliates across the country. Information Minister Kojo Oppong Nkrumah in the studios taking your questions. The second set, we've just gone through them. We'll be going through the text messages as well. So the second set, Logistics Fruits Company, can you move from Eastern
So
regions
let me make a general comment about essential services. Though essential services are exempt in the Act, and then in the executive instrument that the President will be having gazetted tomorrow, we expect that the critical staff of essential services are the ones who will be out there. And we call on the heads and managers of these essential services to use their discretion, develop their own internal work shift systems to reduce their numbers as much as possible. So that the fact that they don't have they have an exemption is no basis for everybody to go. If multimedia has a staff of 200,
we can all work.
We are not saying that all the 200 people should be going out because there's an exemption for media. I do know that you have developed a shift system that ensures that a minimal critical staff is put on the beat, and that's what we're expecting all the essential services to do. Now, the ports are open for cargo business. The ports are open for cargo business. What this means is that people who work at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, freight forwarders who do the clearing, people who work for the shipping lines are, by logical conclusion, exempt. But even for them, we are saying that they need to do two things. Rationalize the numbers to critical staff. So the heads of these organizations rationalize the numbers to critical staff. And two, carry a staff ID that will allow the police from when you are trying to enter Accra, that will allow the police to know that this person is in the exempt category and therefore can enter Accra. As much as possible, if you can stay in Accra for this 2-week period so that you don't have that encounter, it will be advised. So,
related to this one, sorry, there was a question as to whether there's a special tag of a sort, maybe colors for the banks, there's a color for health professionals. Is there a particular ID, or are we just using our work IDs?
So there are different categories. I think before the show is over, if I have my colleagues to pick my ID from the even ministers of state, members of parliament are all been giving IDs, because we do not ordinarily have IDs in our line of work. But for example, for media operators who have IDs, branded cars, branded apparel, you're encouraged to be in it because that exemption is not now that we're going to print IDs for 4,000 media persons overnight. So that's why we say that for the private sector companies, you are, if you're in the exempt category, rationalize your numbers and carry those IDs. And we pray the heads of these institutions, let's all be responsible and rationalize the numbers. There's a key question about construction workers. Construction workers, very often, even for the temporary period, will have an ID of the company that has given you the construction job. And so basic tools. What if it's
a private building?
Usually.
So building should also stop?
Well, no, construction, I think the exemption is for road, is for road and railway construction workers. They are allowed to continue working during this period. Road and railway workers. And they usually will work for a company that will give them an ID, and then they'll have basic apparel with which, using the local discretion of the police in those communities, they will be able to make that determination. But it is for road and railway construction workers. That's the 6th exemption category on the 2nd schedule of the executive instrument that the president will be having gazetted later this week. There's a question about contact to hospitals.
Yeah, for online consultation of a sort if you have minor situations.
Yeah, so I do know that the Ghana Medical Association has started conversations with the Ghana Health Service, and I think it's a brilliant initiative. I commend them for that, on how doctors across the country can do a lot more over-the-phone consultation with their clients. That one does not need to go through the traditional 112 number because a lot of this is localized. And so we're expecting that in the coming days, between the Ghana Health Service and the Ghana Medical Association, they can roll out some local phone numbers that people can use to reach their doctors. But for general call-ins onto the 112, we are also asking those who make prank calls. We are in the midst of a national challenge. This is not the time to be making prank calls to ask, does it work? And I'm a testing line. Indeed, if you've seen the data on the prank calls, it far outweighs those who are actually calling. So you see people who are actually calling, and they will call for a period and it is not being picked up. We pray you drop those ones. Now we've started blocking those who are making prank calls. So when you call more than 3 times without any substantive submission, you'll be blocked. What it means is that in the real day of emergency, your number cannot get through.
Exactly.
And so that's what we are doing after 3 calls, but we are praying people to drop those prank calls so that as we make more persons available on the 112 line, they can also attend to you quickly, because we don't want people flooding the hospitals. If you study the examples of Italy and other places, when in the initial stages they were not clear and people were flooding the hospitals, then they compromised the health sector as well. We have to protect our frontline health workers and the hospitals. So call 112, free up the lines if you don't have any serious business on it. Call 112 so that they can also attend to you.
Well,